Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We're just a little over 48 hours as of the time of this recording. 48 hours away from kicking off the Johnny Majors Classic. Tennessee going on the road to take on Pittsburgh. Last night, we talked about it on the live stream. This feels like a must-win game for Josh Heupel in year two. And some of you may be saying, Boogie, you're crazy. I was in the live chat last night, and you have lost your mind. This is not must-win. We got a whole season to play. But let me tell you why. Last night, talking about it with JP on that live stream. And again, if you missed it, go back and check it out. Great conversation last night. I encourage you to go check out that live stream. We were talking about it, and JP laid out step by step by step why this is must win. Uncle Lou, the Uncle Lou, was in the chat last night mocking Tennessee fans about our excitement, talking about Tennessee heading in the right direction on the recruiting trail. The win-loss record of Josh Heupel in year one when we were at rock bottom. Uncle Lou laughing, saying you guys do this with every single coach, and that's why this feels like must win. We've been here, done that with every coach that's come to Rocky Top since Lane Kiffin left in the middle of the night. We talked about Derek Dooley. He was the polar opposite of the young, arrogant, cocky kid Lane Kiffin. Then enter Butch Jones. He brought something different to the table. He was as close as anybody to rebuilding this football program. But he ends up being a used car salesman. You get rid of that guy. You bring in Jeremy Pruitt. You say, this is what we need. Jeremy Pruitt is a legitimate, authentic, real-life football coach. We've not had that in quite some time. Well, he was a phony too. Now he's out the door. Enter Josh Heupel. The cycle repeats itself over and over and over. So this, to me, feels like a must-win game. Josh Pate broke it down yesterday on his show. I'm going to take a look at his comments. We'll get into it as always. You guys know the deal. Do me a favor. Smash that like button below the video. Quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you are new to this channel, you're wondering what this is. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We don't try to sell you something we're not. We are fans just like you. For the fans, by the fans. If you dig it, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Again, I said earlier, Josh Pate broke down this Tennessee-Pittsburgh game. Want to take a listen to his comments and what he had to say about this game. And he kind of opens up with this same topic, whether or not it's must win. He disagrees with me just a little bit, but let's take a listen to Josh Pate.
How do you label this game? It's not a must-win game, but it feels really, really important, especially to be an out-of-conference game. I think the most important player in this one is actually a Pitt player. I think it's Kedon Slovis. Slovis had a pretty good game in week one. It was a mixed bag, though. They played West Virginia. That's a game that I think a lot of you watched. He went for over 300 through the air. It's a really good number in a debut performance for Kedon Slovis. But they started really slow. I really fear if that happens again against Tennessee, Tennessee can start very fast on you. And I don't feel like seeing West Virginia in a 14 or 17-0 hole because at that point, no one wants to be in a 17-0 hole, okay? No one's favorable in a 17-0 hole.
Look at that play right there they just showed on the screen. That's the game-winning play. West Virginia hits their wide receiver right in the hands. He drops it, goes over his head, pick six, ball game. Pitt comes away with a win. They lucked into a win. Talking about starting fast, I don't think Pitt can keep up with Tennessee. I don't see it. Pitt's got a pretty good defense, really good defensive line, even though they're banged up. One of their star defensive ends may be out for the game. I've not seen that confirmed one way or the other. May not know until kickoff. But I think Tennessee has the opportunity to jump all over you early and often and really put this thing to bed within the first quarter or two. Call me crazy. It may not play out that way, but that's the way I see it. Go back to last year. Yeah, two different teams, different circumstances, but the bottom line is if Hendon Hooker's in that game early, Tennessee blows the doors off of Pittsburgh before we ever get started, and the game ends a different way. And again, I said it last night, ifs, ands, and buts. That's what we keep throwing around when it comes to this Pittsburgh game, and that's why it's time for Hendon Hooker to prove that we were right. And if he had started that game, Tennessee comes away with a win. Again, Josh Pate disagrees with me a little bit there. Says it's not necessarily a must-win, but dang it sure feels like Josh Heupel needs this one to keep the upward trajectory of this program, to keep this thing headed in the right direction. If you lose to Pitt all of a sudden when Florida comes to town in a couple of weeks, it doesn't feel as important. It doesn't feel as monumental. It doesn't feel like it is as big of a deal. We're in the national spotlight right now. Tennessee's not back, but they're on their way back. You've got a top 25 matchup coming up on Saturday against Pittsburgh. Huge, huge game. Let's hear more from Josh Pate.
But I fully expect, because of them trying to prevent that and trying to prevent a duplicate of what happened last week early on, I think they're going to take some shot plays. Everyone thinks about Pat Narduzzi. Nah, they'll just play it underneath. They'll try and pound away if they can. Not a great running effort last week, but they'll try and pound away if they can, and they'll just hit balls underneath and they'll sustain drives. I think they're going to take some shots early. I think they understand how much they need to loosen Tennessee defensively, which they were never really able to do last week against West Virginia. And for that reason, keep your eye on that yards per carry stat. First quarter, first half, keep your eye on it for both teams, because Pitt last week, 39 carries for 76 yards against West Virginia. That's 1.9 yards per carry. And if there's one facet defensively Tennessee feels good about coming into this game, it's run defense. They feel like they match up very well there. They're solid, and I think if they start to do that, and it's just standard Pitt run on early downs and let's get to 2nd and 5, let's get to 3rd and 3, and then we'll pull whatever we want to out of our bag. If it's that, great. If it's not that, and if it's a critical amount of 3rd and 7 or longer, and you're putting Kedon Slovis in consistent positions to have to bail you out, it's not a recipe for success here.
That's the key to this football game on Saturday afternoon. Getting pressure on Kedon Slovis, getting him to the ground, forcing mistakes. And what Josh Pate says there about them taking shots early, bring it. Bring it on. Do you want to get in a shootout with Tennessee? Because, again, he just says there that's not really their MO. That's not what they really want to do. So if you want to play our game, if you want to play by our rules, let's go out and let's see who can score more points in a shootout. Last year, 41-34 final Pitt wins, and that's with Joe Milton missing a lot of opportunities early in the game. Hendon Hooker, if history repeats itself, if he continues with that touchdown to interception ratio, if he continues to be accurate down the field, we didn't see a lot of that last week. Ball State dropped 8. It is what it is. Hendon Hooker took advantage of what he was given, and he had a pretty decent day, even though he missed on some throws. Stat line's still pretty good. Added a couple of touchdowns on the ground. But if Pitt wants to show up on Saturday and get into an offensive slugfest, I encourage it. Bring it on. Bring it on. That's our specialty. I'll see you on Saturday, and we'll celebrate a win shortly thereafter. I also think it plays into Tennessee's favor if Pitt tries to run the football. We saw what happened when they tried to run the football against West Virginia. They struggled to do so. They struggled to do that. And I think Tennessee is better defensively against the run than they are the pass. So I think this matchup, when you look top to bottom, just favors Tennessee across the board. And maybe that's why they are favored by almost a touchdown while going on the road to take on Pittsburgh. Let's hear a little bit more from Josh Pate.
I think that's a recipe for being -2 turnover or better. So if I'm Tennessee, it goes one of two ways. It either goes the way where Tennessee commits a lot of mistakes that are forced by Pitt, and we feel like we give the game away and we lose, or Pitt just flat out outscores us. Those are the two paths for us losing this game. And I don't believe, if I'm a Tennessee fan, that number 2 is happening. Just on its own, I don't believe Pitt's outscoring me. So if we're dropping this game, we contributed to it. Now, that's how I'd feel if I was a Tennessee fan. Let's take a look at what the model thinks about this thing. And this is with bated breath that Director Colin punches that button in there. Director Colin.
So again, as a Tennessee fan, he basically just agrees with everything I had to say right there. If Tennessee loses this football game, as Josh Pate just said, it's because they shot themselves in the foot. And that, again, circles back full circle all the way back to the beginning of the video. That is why this is a must-win game for Tennessee. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Josh Pate goes ahead and gives his prediction. He picks Tennessee, and he picks them to cover, and I am with Josh Pate on that. But what say you? Hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Is this a must-win game? Why or why not? Why or why not? And I know you guys are going to kind of be split on this, but for me, if this program is going to continue to head in the right direction, we're going to keep that momentum going. We're going to keep it going on the recruiting trail, on the football field, staying nationally relevant, getting nationally relevant again. Josh Heupel's got to go out and win this football game. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. As always, make sure you smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin' VAWLS Network. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin' VAWLS. Any and all support greatly appreciated. Thank you to all the new members of the channel. A lot of you guys starting to flood in. Members get access to custom Talkin' VAWLS emojis. They get access to fan call-in shows. Really had a lot of fun Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. With that fan call-in show. So I hope you guys will continue to support what we do. As little as 99 cents a month. We got almost 14,000 subscribers, over 14,000. If every one of you becomes a member of the channel for 99 cents a month, there's a lot to be said for that. We'll continue to bring you more content. Don't forget to join us live an hour before kickoff on Saturday for the Tailgate Show. Also live immediately following the game. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.